There comes a moment in life when something deep inside you awakens. It's not loud. It's not dramatic like a movie scene. Instead, it feels like a quiet realization that spreads through your soul like sunlight breaking through clouds. You start to feel that your life is not random, your struggles were not meaningless, and your path has been guiding you toward something greater. If you are watching this right now, there's a strong chance that this moment is happening for you. Many chosen ones grow up feeling different without understanding why. Maybe you felt emotions more deeply than others. Maybe you questioned things others accepted without thinking. Or maybe life placed you through trials that seemed unfair. But those experiences weren't accidents. They were preparation. Just like steel is forged in fire, the universe often shapes powerful souls through adversity. Think about some of the most influential people in history. Many of them were misunderstood in their early years. They were doubted, rejected, and even mocked before the world eventually recognized their impact. The pattern is clear. Those who change the world rarely begin their journey with comfort or approval. Instead, they start with inner calling. Right now, take a moment and ask yourself something powerful. Have you ever felt like you were meant for something bigger, even when you couldn't explain why? If that thought has crossed your mind, you might be standing at the edge of your awakening, and that awakening carries incredible power. If this message resonates with you already, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. Your support helps these messages reach other souls who may be searching for the same answers you are discovering today. One of the biggest questions chosen ones ask is simple: why was my life so difficult? It's a painful question because when you look back, you see moments that almost broke you. Moments when you felt abandoned, misunderstood, or alone. But what if those trials were actually shaping your strength? Life has a strange way of preparing people for their purpose. Those who are meant to inspire others often experience deep struggles first. They learn empathy because they've felt pain. They develop resilience because they've faced hardship. And they gain wisdom because they've walked through darkness and survived. Imagine a person who has never faced hardship trying to guide someone through grief or struggle. Their advice would feel empty. But when someone who has survived real battles speaks, their words carry weight. That's why your experiences matter. They have turned you into someone who understands life on a deeper level. One of the most underestimated forces in the universe is the human mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and focus have an enormous influence on the direction of your life. Chosen ones eventually discover that their greatest power doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from their inner mindset. For years, many people operate on autopilot, reacting to life rather than shaping it. But the moment you become conscious of your thoughts, everything begins to change. Suddenly, you realize that fear, doubt, and limitation were never permanent truths. They were simply patterns that could be rewritten. Neuroscience supports this idea. The brain has a remarkable ability called neuroplasticity, which means it can rewire itself through new experiences and beliefs. When you change your mindset consistently, you literally reshape your brain. That means your potential is far greater than you were ever taught to believe. Chosen ones often go through a period where they become highly aware of their inner dialogue. They start noticing negative patterns and replacing them with empowering beliefs. This process isn't instant, but it's transformative. Over time, the voice that once doubted you becomes the voice that drives you forward. Have you ever noticed that some people walk into a room and instantly change the atmosphere? Sometimes their presence brings calm, inspiration, or confidence. Other times, someone's negative energy can make everyone uncomfortable. This happens because human beings constantly influence each other through emotional and psychological energy. Chosen ones often carry a powerful presence, even when they don't realize it yet. Their empathy, intuition, and authenticity create a ripple effect on those around them. Sometimes people feel inspired by them. Other times, insecure individuals feel threatened by their light. Psychologists call this phenomenon emotional contagion. the idea that emotions can spread from person to person. When you carry hope, strength, and clarity within yourself, others begin to feel those qualities too. This is one reason why leaders, teachers, and healers have such a profound impact on the people around them. But here's the truth. Your energy becomes powerful only when you protect it. That means choosing your environment wisely, setting boundaries, and surrounding yourself with people who support growth instead of draining your spirit. Every transformation in history begins with a decision, a moment when someone looks at their life and says, "Enough is enough. Things will be different from now on." That moment might feel small at first, but it holds enormous power. Many chosen ones spend years doubting themselves before they reach this turning point. They question their worth, their path, and their abilities. But eventually something shifts. They begin to realize that waiting for permission from the world is pointless. The power to change their life has been inside them all along. Consider the story of someone who decides to break a cycle in their family, perhaps poverty, fear, or emotional silence. The first step might simply be learning, growing, and believing in a different future. But that one step can alter the course of generations. The truth is, you don't need to control the entire future to change your life. You only need the courage to take the next step forward. One decision leads to another, and over time those decisions shape a completely new reality. So here is the question that could change everything. What is one decision you know deep down you need to make right now? Share it in the comments. Your answer might empower someone else to take their first step too. At some point in the journey of every chosen one, there comes a quiet awakening. It doesn't always arrive with fireworks or dramatic signs. Sometimes it begins with a simple shift in awareness. You start noticing patterns in your life. You begin to question the beliefs you once accepted without thinking. Suddenly, the world looks different, and you realize that your perspective has evolved beyond what it used to be. Many people go through life following the same routines, believing the same ideas, and never questioning the direction they're heading. But chosen ones rarely remain asleep to their potential forever. Life pushes them to wake up. It may come through heartbreak, loss, failure, or a deep moment of reflection. These moments, painful as they are, become the catalysts that open your eyes to a bigger reality. When this awakening begins, your priorities often change. Things that once seemed extremely important may start to feel meaningless. The endless chase for approval, status, or material validation begins to lose its grip on your heart. Instead, you start searching for purpose, truth, and inner peace. This shift can feel confusing at first because not everyone around you will understand it. Some people might even question why you're changing. But growth often creates distance from old environments. And sometimes, that distance is necessary for your evolution. If you've ever felt like people misunderstood you or even tried to hold you back, you're not alone. Many chosen ones experience resistance from others before they fully step into their power. Sometimes the resistance is subtle, other times it's obvious, but it often comes from one simple source: fear. When someone begins to grow, evolve, or think differently, it can make others uncomfortable. People who are used to the old version of you may feel threatened by your transformation. Your courage to change can highlight the areas of their lives they've been afraid to confront. Think about it like this. When a light shines in a dark room, it doesn't only illuminate the path, it also reveals things people might have preferred to keep hidden. Your authenticity and strength can unintentionally challenge others to look at themselves honestly. Many chosen ones underestimate the impact they have on others. Because you're used to your own thoughts and emotions, you might assume your perspective is ordinary. But the truth is, your mindset and experiences give you a unique voice that can influence more people than you realize. Sometimes influence begins with small actions: a supportive conversation with a friend, a message that encourages someone who feels lost, a story about overcoming hardship. These moments may seem minor to you, but to someone else they can be life-changing. History is full of examples where a single voice sparked massive transformation. One person speaking honestly about their struggles can inspire thousands to face their own challenges. Authenticity carries a powerful energy that people recognize immediately. Even the strongest chosen ones face moments of doubt. That quiet voice in your mind may ask questions like, "Am I really capable?" Or, "What if I fail?" Doubt is a universal human experience. But what separates those who transform their lives from those who remain stuck is how they respond to that voice. Many people try to eliminate doubt completely, but the truth is that doubt often appears right before growth. When you step outside your comfort zone, uncertainty naturally follows. Instead of seeing it as a sign to stop, you can view it as evidence that you're moving towards something meaningful. Think of every major achievement in history. The people who accomplished extraordinary things weren't fearless. They simply chose to move forward despite their fears. Courage isn't the absence of doubt, it's the decision to act anyway. One helpful strategy is to focus on progress rather than perfection. Instead of asking yourself whether you're ready for the entire journey, ask yourself if you're ready for the next step. Small steps taken consistently can lead to remarkable transformations over time. Eventually, every chosen one reaches a powerful moment where they stop running from their calling and start embracing it. This moment isn't about perfection or having everything figured out. It's about recognizing that your life has meaning and deciding to live in alignment with that truth. Purpose doesn't always appear as a single dramatic mission. Sometimes it unfolds gradually through the actions you take every day. Helping others, sharing wisdom, creating something meaningful, or simply living with integrity can all be expressions of purpose. One of the most beautiful things about purpose is that it often grows through service. When you use your experiences to uplift others, you create a cycle of positive impact that extends far beyond what you can see. A single act of encouragement today could influence someone's life for years. But stepping into your purpose requires courage. It means trusting your intuition even when the path ahead is uncertain. It means believing in the value of your voice even when others don't fully understand it yet. There were moments in your life when you thought you wouldn't make it. Moments when the pressure felt unbearable, when the pain seemed endless, and when the future looked uncertain. Yet somehow, you are still here. That alone reveals something powerful about you. There is a strength inside you that you may not fully recognize yet, but it has been quietly guiding you through every storm. Chosen ones often underestimate their own resilience because they're too close to their struggles. When you're inside the battle, it's hard to see how strong you've become. But if you take a moment to look back at your journey, you'll realize something incredible. The obstacles that once felt impossible are now chapters of your past. Psychologists often speak about resilience as the ability to recover from adversity, but in reality, it's much deeper than that. True resilience transforms people. It doesn't just help you survive, it helps you evolve. The experiences that once hurt you can become the very lessons that empower you. Think about a time in your life when you overcame something that once terrified you. Maybe it was emotional pain, financial hardship, or personal loss. At the time it felt like the end of the world. But now, looking back, you can see that it shaped you into a stronger version of yourself. One of the most powerful roles chosen ones often play is breaking cycles that existed long before they were born. These cycles might involve fear, self-doubt, poverty, silence, or emotional pain passed from one generation to another. For years, families and communities may repeat the same patterns without realizing it. But sometimes a person appears who begins to question those patterns. Someone who refuses to accept that things must always remain the same. That person becomes a catalyst for change. And if you've ever felt the urge to do things differently than those before you, you may be that person. Breaking cycles is not easy. It often means challenging beliefs that have existed for decades. It requires courage to say, This stops with me. That might mean pursuing education when no one else did, choosing healing instead of anger, or building a new path where none existed before. History shows that some of the most transformative individuals were those who dared to break traditions that no longer served growth. By doing so, they opened doors for future generations to live better lives. At first, chosen ones focus on their own healing and growth. They're learning, evolving, and trying to understand the lessons life has given them. But eventually something remarkable begins to happen. People start coming to them for advice, encouragement, or perspective. You might notice friends opening up to you about their struggles. Strangers might share their stories with you unexpectedly. It's not because you have all the answers. It's because your experiences have given you empathy and understanding that others can feel. Guiding others doesn't mean being perfect. In fact, the most powerful guides are those who speak honestly about their own mistakes and lessons. When people hear authentic stories, they realize they're not alone in their struggles. Sometimes your influence might be quiet. A supportive message, a conversation that lifts someone's spirit, or simply being present for someone during a difficult moment can have a profound impact. You may never fully see the ripple effect of your actions. Pain is one of life's most difficult experiences, yet it can also become one of the most powerful sources of transformation. Many chosen ones discover that the very struggles they once wished to escape eventually become the foundation of their purpose. For example, someone who experienced loneliness might dedicate their life to helping others feel connected. A person who faced financial hardship might build a path that teaches others how to achieve stability. Pain often reveals areas of life where compassion and understanding are needed the most. Think about some of the most inspiring leaders, teachers, and creators in the world. Many of them built their mission from personal struggles. Their pain gave them insight that textbooks and theories could never provide. The key is learning how to transform those experiences into wisdom instead of bitterness. This doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't matter. It means using the lessons from that pain to create something meaningful. For many years, people live under identities shaped by expectations. Society tells them who they should be. Family traditions guide their decisions. Fear convinces them to stay within familiar boundaries. But eventually, chosen ones begin to break free from those limitations. This process can feel uncomfortable because it requires letting go of versions of yourself that no longer align with your true path. You may outgrow certain environments, beliefs, or even relationships, but growth often requires releasing what no longer serves your evolution. As your true identity begins to emerge, you may feel a stronger sense of clarity and confidence. You start making decisions based on your values instead of external pressure. This is one of the most empowering stages of personal transformation. When people live authentically, they radiate a sense of peace and strength that others can feel. Authenticity is powerful because it allows you to live without constantly seeking approval. Real power is not just about influence or strength, it is about responsibility. Once you begin to recognize the potential within you, you also realize that your choices carry weight. The way you speak, the way you act, and the energy you bring into the world can shape the experiences of others around you. Chosen ones often reach a stage where they understand that their actions ripple outward. A single decision made with courage can inspire someone else to change their life. A moment of kindness can restore hope in someone who was ready to give up. Power, in its truest form, is the ability to uplift and transform the world around you. But responsibility also means discipline. It means choosing growth over comfort and integrity over shortcuts. When you know you have the ability to make a difference, settling for a life of indifference no longer feels acceptable. History shows that individuals who embraced this responsibility often became leaders, mentors, or visionaries. They weren't perfect people, but they were willing to stand up for what they believed in and act with purpose. One of the greatest challenges in life is standing firmly in your truth when the world pressures you to conform. There will always be voices telling you to follow the crowd, to remain silent, or to stay within safe boundaries. But chosen ones eventually realize that their authenticity is more valuable than approval. Standing in your truth doesn't mean being arrogant or dismissive of others. It simply means honoring your values, beliefs, and purpose even when they are misunderstood. The courage to live authentically often becomes a powerful example for others who are afraid to do the same. Think about the moments when you felt proud of yourself, not because others praised you, but because you knew you stayed true to your principles. Those moments define character. They reveal the strength of your spirit. The journey toward authenticity may require difficult decisions. Sometimes it means walking away from situations that no longer align with your growth. Other times it means speaking honestly even when it feels uncomfortable. The world often makes change seem impossible. Problems appear too big, systems seem too powerful, and individuals feel too small. But history repeatedly proves that meaningful transformation often begins with one person deciding to act. When you live with purpose, your actions create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. A single idea can inspire a movement. A moment of courage can awaken hope in an entire community. The influence of one life lived authentically can reach places you may never even witness. Think about how many lives have been shaped by people who simply chose to follow their calling. Teachers who inspired generations of students, writers whose words changed perspectives, leaders who challenged injustice and created progress. Your journey may not look like theirs, but the principle remains the same. Every positive action adds momentum to a larger wave of change. When people witness courage and kindness, they often feel inspired to express those qualities themselves. Destiny is often misunderstood as something fixed or predetermined. But in reality, destiny is shaped by the decisions we make and the actions we take over time. Every step you choose today influences the direction of your future. Chosen ones eventually realize that they are not powerless passengers in their own lives. They are creators of their path. Even small choices, such as learning a new skill, building healthier relationships, or pursuing a meaningful goal, can gradually transform an entire life story. Think about the countless examples of people who changed their destiny despite overwhelming circumstances. Individuals who grew up in poverty but built successful lives through perseverance. People who faced rejection but continued to pursue their dreams until the world recognized their talent. What all these stories have in common is persistence. Transformation rarely happens overnight. It happens through consistent effort, resilience, and belief in a future that is greater than the present moment. At the beginning of this video, we talked about the realization that you were never ordinary. Now, after exploring the journey of awakening, growth, resilience, and purpose, the message becomes even clearer. You truly have the power to change everything. That power doesn't come from external validation or perfect circumstances. It comes from your mindset, your choices, and your willingness to keep moving forward even when the path feels uncertain. Every great transformation in history started with someone who believed change was possible. Remember that your story is still unfolding. The challenges you face today may one day become the lessons that inspire others. The courage you show now may create opportunities you cannot yet imagine. And most importantly, never underestimate the value of your presence in this world. Your ideas, your compassion, and your determination all contribute to the greater story of humanity. So before this video ends, I want to ask you one final question. Do you believe you have the power to change your life and influence the world around you? If your answer is yes, type "I claim my power" in the comments so this community can see how many people are ready to rise. And if this message touched your heart, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Your support helps this channel continue spreading messages of awakening, purpose, and transformation.